So, following on from the previous Matrix 4 video that we did just under a week ago, which showed Keanu Reeves back on set as Neo, but looking more like a John Wick variation of Neo with his beard and very long hair, we have a 360 flip degree turn in the next leaked set photo that I was sent on Instagram at WarStew if you're interested in letting me know stories. So, what is good, YouTube? WarStew here. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any videos. So, we've got quite a mental video clip of the filming of Matrix 4, because what's happening is there's two people jumping off a side of a building, and it's not fake. We don't know if it actually is the respective actors or if it's just their stunt doubles. But essentially what happens in this video clip is you can see the wires, you can see they're at least 300-400 feet in the air, and they are jumping. Then it stopped for a few seconds. This is probably where they're going to add CGI post effects. And then it shoots up into the air after this. But what's more interesting to me is Neo and Trinity. They both look like they're old versions of themselves. He's definitely got short hair. If you do zoom in, he's not got the beard. So maybe this is a flashback or flash forward or something like that. Now, she could be teaching him a new movement, so to speak. But he's wearing a long jacket, looks very similar to the Neo outfit from the previous movies. Now, the footage was shot in San Francisco, so the article says. It also says that Keanu Reeves was getting into shape for this movie. This is the first live action glimpse we've gotten so far. So to get two leaked set photo video clips, I guess you could say, in a week is pretty interesting. But when they film outside, they can't really hide this kind of stuff. Now, it is pretty interesting because a set for movies like Mission Impossible, where Tom Cruise hurt himself from jumping over a building over to another building over the gap physically, you never normally see this kind of stuff in live action movies nowadays. Most Marvel and DC stuff is usually green screened, unless it's like Henry Cavill, something like that, because he likes to do his own stunts, or The Witcher, where I believe Henry Cavill did a lot of his own stunts. Usually, stuff like this is screened, and it's just pathetic, really, when you think about it. So, but that's generally due to the fact that if said actor gets injured, it can delay the movie by a long time. So it is interesting that they are jumping off this building that looks huge. No one seems to know what's going on. I mean, the only thing I can come up with, that maybe it's a flashback to a previous part of the Matrix universe that we've never seen, or maybe it's some kind of reincarnation, because both these characters technically don't really exist anymore based on the ending of the most previous Matrix movie. Did Neo die? Didn't he die? It wasn't really that clear. It was left to your own interpretation. So the article we're reading here, it says, in addition to Keanu Reeves, Neo will also see the return of Trinity, Carrie-Anne Moss. And since neither of these characters survived the Matrix Revolution, and obviously begs the question as to how they will feature in the Matrix 4, we also see Niobe Jada Pinkett Smith return to the fold, as well as a slew of new characters for what is worth. The second person in the stunt footage has short black hair, which could indicate that it's Trinity, maybe. Whilst the footage is undoubtedly exciting, it creates more questions about that than it answers. Who is free falling? Are they inside or outside the Matrix? What or who are they running from or towards? And since the scene seems to end with the two characters suspended in the middle of the air, what happens next? As I said previously in this video, there will be something added post-production with CGI, maybe. One thing the stunt seems to reveal is Matrix 4 is shaping up to be a huge production, since Lana Wachowski has returned to direct the latest Matrix chapter. It's probably safe to assume that the film will continue on with her unique storytelling and aesthetics. And if there were any doubts that this film would be less adrenaline junkie induced or based, these can probably be put to rest now. We know for sure how the stunts play into the film as a whole of The Matrix 4. We're hit the cinema May 2021, guys. So let me know down below, what is freaking going on in this scene? What do you think? Now, I am really impressed that the fact that my last video on this got a lot of interest. So there was a general conception that people were upset that Hugo wasn't going to be returning. So it is pretty interesting. And all the comments were on about me saying it's not leaked. It's leaked purposely, put on the internet by producers to examine the public's initial reaction. Honestly, I hope it's a standalone film to accommodate the first one, because part 2 and part 3 were horrible. So I do think they could have initially leaked the first one, but the first leak footage went over last week when essentially it was just Keanu Reeves, aka Neo, walking around, looking up, coming out of a restaurant. It's definitely real because they wouldn't waste time. These movies, they don't generally have time to waste when it comes to getting the next movie out. They don't really tend to waste time and effort on money on shooting a bunch of stuff for no reason. I guess legends never die. So the general conception is no one's got a freaking clue. Neo was revived the 3rd day. Interesting. I'm just going over some comments. And some people are trying to make out this movie is a cross between Matrix 4 and John Wick, which really doesn't make any sense. And a lot of the comments tend to say they didn't confirm that he's dead. Neo is a new program and he can always shave in the movie before he comes back and starts fighting. True, but it is interesting. Neo is John Wick. Plot twist, Neo is just a reincarnated version of John Wick. Yeah, there's a lot of trolly John Wick comments. So it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And another comment says this, which I found interesting. I don't know why people think this means Neo's still alive. Didn't you guys pay attention? Neo and Trinity were incarnations that appear every time the Matrix reboots. So Keanu Reeves' character is probably playing a new incarnation of the One anomaly. Or it's a prequel and this is the first version of this anomaly. I mean, that is an interesting kind of thing, but we just don't know. And then there's a bunch of other comments that says stuff like this. His body is dead. He's stuck in the Matrix. So we don't know if these scenes are happening in the Matrix, outside the Matrix. We don't really know. So it is very fascinating, so to speak, in the grand scheme of things, because we don't really know much about this movie. What we do know is that they shot a bunch of scenes outside a restaurant. Neo was walking, looked up, looks more like John Wick. And then we get this video clip on Twitter that comes up and 2 people jump off a building, look like Neo and Trinity, and they look like they're younger versions of themselves. But there is one comment that's pretty interesting. This person is very worried about what's going to happen. No Hugo, I don't know, but I'm worried. It's my all-time favorite franchise. I can't stress how anxious I am. It just doesn't feel right without them. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are annoyed that some of the original characters in the Matrix franchise aren't coming back for this, but we don't really know what's going to happen. It's going to be a prequel where Neo and Trinity are actually in the real world and they eventually get plugged in and Matrix 1 starts, which is a cool theory because no one really knows what is going to happen in this movie. So I'd love to know down below, guys, what is your theory? What is happening? Now we've got a variation of Neo and Trinity who look like their original characters back from Matrix 1. I know Keanu Reeves in real life hasn't aged at all, but we have one scene where he looks like John Wick. Then another scene where if this is him or if it's a stunt double who looks like the version that we've always had, like, which is really old now. So I'd love to know what you guys think down below. How is Neo alive? If he is alive, if he isn't alive, let me know. I'm going to keep covering new content like this alongside Godzilla vs. Kong, Matrix 4, and many other franchises that I'm very interested in finding out. Is this some kind of new power, new ability? Because as far as I can tell, I'm not the biggest Matrix fanboy, but I'm pretty sure that Neo couldn't fly in the previous variations of the Matrix movies. I could be wrong. I'm damn sure that Trinity couldn't fly either. I'm pretty sure Neo and Trinity could not fly. I know they were both badass and could fight very well, but I don't think either of them could fly. I'm pretty sure they couldn't fly. And I couldn't really find much else when I went onto the Twitter post for this. In the comments, it's got over 1.4 million views. It was posted yesterday, but generally speaking, if you look at the comments, no one really knows anything, which is neither a good thing or a bad thing. They've not really said anything about this movie. thus far. So I'm very interested to find out what he's going to go on going forward. Like always, guys, I will keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest pop culture movie news. I find this fascinating, this scene. Hopefully, I can put this clip into the video because it is very fascinating. If I can't, I will leave the link down below to the Twitter page at The Film Stage, which is the, I guess you could say, publication on Twitter that posts it. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.